Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barbara and I'm so happy that you're here today because it's time for another TBRvatar video, and that is December TBR. So December is very exciting month. There are a couple of readathons I want to participate in. So the first one to mention is Orilium Lightfall, hosted by G from Book Roast. The second one is Slavicathon by Sasha from Sasha. And the third one is Reindeer Readathon, which I am appropriately dressed for. I don't know if you can see, probably not. Reindeer Readathon hosted by Eric from Break Even Books. And I will talk more about these readathons at the end of the video. First, we will do the TBRvatar and see if we can fit any of these books into the readathons. That is the plan. So, I think we can just start by summarizing how November went. So, in November, I got 4 books as usual. First book or first prompt was a book from an author you've never read before. For this, I decided to read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Not sure what's the author's name, I will put it up here. And I am still reading it, I'm about 3rd way through, but I'm really enjoying it, so I will count it as a read book. So that went well, or I'm working on that. The second book, or the second prompt, was Cabbage Pot. Here we got Something in the Water by Catherine Stedman, and I did read this. Third prompt was another Cabbage Pot. From here we got Electra by Jennifer Saint, and I did read this as well. And the last prompt was the longest book on your TBR, and for this the longest book I picked was 11/22/63 by Stephen King, which has almost 700 pages, 740 even, but I didn't get to this one. So I read 3 books and didn't read 1. So this in total means 2 steps forward, because 3 steps forward for books I read, 1 step backwards for the ones I didn't, 2 steps forward. Next up, I have to mention some books that I bought, for which I will have to take steps back. So this is going to be a very mini haul. And if you don't want to watch this, you can just skip ahead. This video is chaptered, so you can skip to the next part of the video. So let's go through the books I bought. First, I got Illumicrate book from October Illumicrate box, and that is The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. I talked about what this book is about in the Illumicrate unboxing video, so I will link it down below so you can check that. But in short, I think it is a dark academia fantasy where the main character is deaf. So there is deaf representation, which is very interesting, and I'm really intrigued. I don't know more about that actually. So that's the first book. Second book I got is a group book for the Slavicathon, and that is The Witch and the Tsar by Olesya Salnikova-Gilmore. Then this and the next 2 books I talked about in my last vlog, so I will just quickly sum up what they are about. But this is a fantasy based on Slavic folklore, where the main character is Baba Yaga, who is trying to save her nation and her country from the Tsar Ivan the Terrible, and from the gods, who are trying to seduce and harm people. That's what I got from it, and I am really hoping to get to this in December. This is definitely the top priority. Next book I got is Driving Home for Christmas by Joanna Boluri. Of course, I wanted to get some cute Christmassy romance, and this book is about a couple who recently broke up, but they haven't told their families yet, and for the sake of having nice and peaceful holiday together, Christmas with the families, they pretend during the Christmas holidays that they are still together. And yeah, maybe or maybe not, they'll get back together. We don't know, we'll have to find out. And then the last one I talked about in the last vlog is Keeping a Christmas Promise by Joe Thomas. And this is basically a group of friends out of which one had died some time ago. And they had this kind of deal that one time they will go and they will spend Christmas in Iceland hoping to see Northern Lights. And after this friend passed away, they decided to finally do this and keep the promise to the friend. So they go to Iceland and they get basically buried in an avalanche. And then there is some kind of Iceland guy who comes and saves them. And yeah, I don't know, it just follows this kind of story and I'm really excited. Then I got one book which I will not count towards the game because it was for free and it was on Kindle. It's called Royal Christmas Fairy Tale by Karen Shaler, and this is from a holiday publishing darling and Emmy Award-winning writer of Netflix's hit rom-com A Christmas Prince. Comes this heartwarming feel-good Christmas romance about the power of believing in yourself to find your happily ever after. A charming Christmas village, a storybook castle, a royal ball, and a gorgeous prince are the last things New York City reporter Kaylee Carlisle expects to find on her holiday freelance assignment to Europe. But when the family she's interviewing turns out to be royal family of Tolvania, Kaylee has a meltdown when the quirky queen wants her to write a Christmas fairy tale for the spunky young princess. And yeah, I will not read the entire synopsis, but it was for free and I remember I did request it on NetGalley last year, but I didn't get it, and now it was for free on Kindle, so I just grabbed it. So that's another book I got. And then the last book I got, and which will be counting for this, is The Last Family in England by Matt Haig. Matt Haig is an author for me. I absolutely love his writing and his books. This is his debut novel, and it is basically told from point of view of the dog, of a brown Labrador called Prince. And Prince is an earnest young dog striving hard to live up to the tenets of the Labrador Pact, which is remain loyal to your human masters, serve and protect your family at any cost. Other dogs, led by the Springer Spaniels, have revolted. As things in the Hunter family begin to go badly awry, marital breakdown, rowdy teenage parties, attempted suicide, Prince's responsibilities threaten to overwhelm him and he is forced to break the Labrador Pact and take desperate action to save his family. I think it sounds adorable, something to think about, or something to make you think, and I'm just really excited because it's Matt Haig. So, these are all the books I got this month. So I will be taking 5 steps back on the board, and I haven't read any of them yet. So I will have to roll a die additional to see how many steps back I'll go. Because if you don't know, my rule is that I have to read the books I buy in the last 2 months. If I don't, I have to roll a die and go additional step backwards on the board. So that's what I'm going to do. However, I do plan to read these books in December, or most of them anyway. So I will only roll the D4 die. So I'll be kind of nice to me there. Yeah, I think that's all. And now it's time to jump into the game. Okay, so last time we ended up on this spot. And as we said, we start with 3 steps back as a punishment for all the books I bought. And now we're also gonna roll D4 die. So let's see what happens. And it's very nice. Only 1 more step back. Okay, cool. So we start here. And let's go for roll number 1. Oh wow, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Prompt. Nice. Okay, so we got the prompt card, so I'm going to use the Illuminate prompt cards. I'm going to just shuffle them and pick one. Okay, this one. What's the prompt? A book in a format you wouldn't usually read. Recently I haven't been reading ebooks much. So I'm gonna go for an ebook here. And I'm going to read the Royal Christmas Fairy Tale one that I just got recently. Yeah, that sounds exciting, so I'm going to do that. So that's my pick for this prompt. Okay, roll number 2. We don't want 1 because that would throw us all the way back here. So anything but 1. I called it. I called it. So the eclipse, we go back. 1, 2, 3. Cabbage pot. Of course I go back on the board. I was so hoping this would be such an easy month with the TBRvatar, so then I can mood read whatever I want, whatever fits the readathons, but no. We go backwards and we get Cabbage Pot. But since the game is mean to me, I decide to be nice to me instead, to balance it out. And so instead of Cabbage Pot, I'm going to do a hot wine pot, where I'm going to put all the books I have to and want to read in December, and I will randomly pick from there. So we're going to create a new one. It is hot wine pot. Option 1 is the Whispering Dark, if this gets out. So should we roll? Let's do it. Okay, and that's 1,000 chips. So that's the next book. I'm happy I was nice to myself. So it's going to be 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes, and this is basically Greek mythology retelling about the women of Sparta and especially the Trojan War. I read a similar book. I wanted to read this last month, but I read Electra, which is basically about the same thing, so I didn't want to read them back to back. So I postponed this, and now it's time to read this one. So I'm really excited. Okay. Roll number 3 is 5. Have some patience, nephew. Cool. Nice. So prompt, have some patience, nephew, means that I'm supposed to pick a book that's been on my TBR for a long time and I still haven't read. So let's see what that would be. Here is my list of the books. I ordered them from the oldest to the newest, so the books I had the longest on my TBR is here on the top. And then I also ordered them, only the unread books are on the top. And we can see the first book actually is The Christmas Books by Charles Dickens. And I think that's a perfect pick. So I'm going to be reading The Christmas Books by Charles Dickens. This book contains 3 stories or 3 books. It has A Christmas Carol, The Chimes, and The Cricket on the Hearth. And last year I read A Christmas Carol and I've seen it, I've seen the play of it a couple times and I just love the story. So I will not be rereading that, but I'll be reading the rest of the book. It is pretty short book, so if we check, so this is where the Christmas Carol is, and this is the other 2 stories, so I'm going to be reading this part of the book really. But anyway, so the Christmas books, and I'm really excited about that. That's a perfect pick. Okay, and the last roll. An 8. Okay, well now it's trying to make up for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the same prompt card. Alright. Okay, so again we ended up on the same spot as last time. This time it's only a prompt, so that's okay. So let's go shuffle again and pick another prompt card. Half of them fell out. So back and continue shuffling. And this one. A book of an author of color. So none of the books I hold in this video are by person of color, which sucks, but let's move on. For this I'm going to pick a book from the list 12 books to read in 2022, and that is Iron Widow by Jiran J. Zhao. And so, yeah, this is sci-fi, fantasy, very feminist heavy book, where I think it's a villain story, and I really don't know much about that. So I've read the synopsis a couple times, I still don't know, so... But this is what I'm going to be reading, and it matches the card as well. So this is my TBR from TBRvatar. So we've got Royal Christmas for book I don't usually read. I got 1,000 Ships from the hot wine pot. Then I got Old Book, or Book I Had Long on my TBR, that's the Christmas books. And then Person of Color author is Iron Widow. I'm really excited about this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. There we have 2 Christmassy books and 2 books from the list 12 in 2022. So this sounds great. So now, how does this fill into the readathons? So let's dive into that. All these readathon announcements, I will put links down below so you can check them out and join if you want to. First of all, I want to talk about Slavicathon. Slavicathon is hosted by Sasha from Sasha, and it is going to take place during the first full week of December, so December 5th to December 11th. And this readathon is focused on books or on Slavic folklore and Slavic culture, and here we have 5 prompts to fulfill. Unless you have some superpower from the first round of Slavicathon, which took place last year, you can't double up, so you should read 5 books. I'm not going to be attempting that. There is no chance I will read 5 books in 7 days, so I will just aim at 1 for now. And the one that I'm aiming for is for the 5th prompt, and that is surprise. The prompt is Slavic folklore. So for this, I'm going to be reading the group book, The Witch and the Tsar, because this book is based on Slavic folklore. So this is what I'll be reading for the Slavicathon. If I manage to read more, I will try to fulfill the other prompts. So this goes on to my TBR. Next up, we have Orilium Lightfall Mini Readathon, which is hosted by G from Book Roast, and this will take place from December 9th until December 18th, so that is Friday, December 9th, until Sunday next week, December 18th. And here we have basically a town where we are shopping for Christmas, and we go into the different stores, and different stores represent different genres. And then there is one place called Rich Pigeon Pub, which is just vibes, so no reading necessary. And then how you can decide which prompt to do, you can roll a die or you can just choose. Because I think it's fun, I'm going to roll a die, so I'm going to roll a 6-sided die to decide which store I'll go to. If I roll 6, which would represent the Rich Pigeon Pub, then I will just roll again because I do want to add a book or have a book for this readathon. So I will put it up here, but if I roll 1, that means the Old Tales bookstore, which is mystery and thriller. Number 2 is Shawl and Shank Legitimate Retailer, which is a horror book. Number 3 is Wallace's Wonderful Winter Animals, which is a fantasy book. Number 4 is Smith and Friends and Sons Arcane Goods and Such, which is contemporary book. Number 5 is Occult Premonitions, which is a science fiction, and then the 6th one is The Rich Pigeon Pub. So let's roll. And I rolled, can you see? 1. So we are adding mystery or thriller. So we're gonna get horror. No. 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 5. Science fiction. So we rolled 5, which means science fiction. And for this, I am going to read A Prayer for the Crowned Shy by Becky Chambers. This is a sci-fi, and it is the second in the series Monk and Robot. I got it from library and I have to return it during December because somebody else has it reserved. So I can't prolong it, so I have to read it in December. And it is a short one, it is like 140 pages, so this should be a quick read, so this goes to the TBR. That's for Orilium. And then again, if I'll manage to read more than that, which I might, then I'll just read as I go, you know, and that will be again in the book. And then we have Reindeer Readathon, which is hosted by Eric from Break-Even Books. The readathon takes place the entire month, December 1st to December 31st. And we've got many prompts. There is 9 prompts which are representing different reindeer, and then there are extra prompts. And again, I will just try to fulfill the prompts as I go. So I will try to fit these books that I already have on my TBR to fit these prompts. So first, I think I want to focus on the Blitzen, which is you're supposed to randomly pick a number from 0 to 9 and then find a book and read a book that has number of pages that ends with that number. So for that, I'm going to be rolling a d10 die to see what number it lands on. And it landed on, it rolled away, 7. It landed on 7. So let's see if any of these books end on number 7. 224, 345, 2, Iron Widow, and page 399. So nope, 400, 324. Christmas and Island Hotel. 348, so close. Riding Home for Christmas. 386. None of them end with 7. Okay, none of the books that are adepts on being on my TBR end with page 7. Page number ending with 7. So I will roll again and see. 1. That is a 1. You can't probably see it, but that's a 1. 391. Yes! Got it! Got a winner. So Iron Widow goes for Blitzen. So other prompts I can try to fulfill from these books that I have here is the first one, Dasher. Dasher is finish the series, and for this I can count A Prayer for the Crown Shy, because that is the last book in the series. Then we have cursive, flowy, elegant font on the cover, Keeping a Christmas Promise, because it has cursive, pretty elegant font. Then next one is Prancer, and that is a book with your favorite season on the cover or the colors of your favorite season on the cover. My favorite season is summer. I'm not going to be reading books with summer on the cover now, but maybe the colors of it. So summer is what? Blue, yellow, green could be. So from these, maybe 1,000 ships, because it is blue, which is like blue sky. There is a ship which screams summer to me, so 1,000 ships for that. Next up we have a favorite trope. Could it be a witch? Is a witch a favorite trope? I definitely love witches, so we could count this. Next one is book you're excited to read, but you're not the fan of the cover. This is for Donner Reindeer. And for this, honestly, I would probably go for this one. Christmas at the Island Hotel by Jenny Colgan. I found this at the library and assumed I could have it as a cute Christmassy read, but I'm not a big fan of the color. I don't like the bright green. I don't know, there's just something that is itching me about it, so I could pick this one definitely. And then last one is Rudolph, Start a New Series. And I don't have a book for that. So yeah, and then there are some extra prompts which I'm not gonna go through now. But yeah, these are up for a change. These might change as the month go. These are not fixed books for this readathon, but we'll see. What I get to, that will count. And these were just like some suggestions that could count towards this prompt. So if we just sum up the books I mentioned here, those are all of these. So these are the books. It's a lot. I will not be able to read all of these. Also, on top of that, I would like to read Driving Home for Christmas. I would like to read I Wish You All the Best. And if this gets out, because I have to return them to the library very soon. And then, yeah, that's it. Definitely not happening in the busiest month of the year. Not a chance. However, I'm gonna have fun trying. I'm gonna just take it easy and try to read some of these. Hopefully I can get to a lot of them. I'm really excited about all these books. But yeah, so that's all for the readathons. I think that's more than enough. So all of the books that are the priority are these. So we've got If This Gets Out is from the list 12, as well as I Wish You All the Best. Then we've got the Christmas books by Charles Dickens. We've got The Witch and the Tar, which is the group book for Slavicathon. We've got 1,000 Ships, which was for the hot wine pot. We've got Keeping a Christmas Promise, just because I really want to read it. We've got A Psalm for the Wild-Built, which is for the sci-fi and finish series. We've got Iron Widow, which is a person of color author. And then, of course, we've got the Royal Fairy Tale Christmas, which was for a book in a format I usually don't read. So this is a huge stack. I am not scared, because if I don't get to all of these, that's fine. That's fine. Reading is just supposed to be fun, and that's what I plan to do in December. Have lots of Christmassy reads, and just have fun. So that's that. If you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments what you thought about them. If you would like to read any of these in December and maybe buddy read them with me, also let me know. I love to buddy read books and share thoughts as we go. And I think that's it. What are you most excited about to read in December? Let me know. And I think that's all for this video. It's already been long enough, I think. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my vlog in the next video. Bye guys!